everyone, welcome back to High Point again. And in this video, we'll be looking at feminist literary criticism, the most controversial and the most misread criticism ever, feminist criticism. So before that, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, subscribe to it. If you are interested to have NTA, UGC, NET, JRF, English language and literature related materials. And also while you subscribe, press the bell icon so that you may get a notification whenever we upload a video in here. And also follow me on Instagram if you are also there in Instagram, because there also we are sharing lot of variety of materials in the feed session, in the reel session as well as in the story. If you also visit my Instagram, see, and if you're interested, follow me there. And also visit my website www.highpoint.in. There we are providing systematically arranged, well explained and simplified affordable study materials for your NET JRF English language and literature paper 2. So visit my website and have the free trial, and after having it, if you're interested to be a student in our family, then you are most welcome, and you can subscribe to the course from the website itself. And yeah, let me know your impression after visiting it. And if you want to know more about the study materials, the offers, free offers that we are sharing, free bonuses that we are sharing, and the 15% of off and the study materials, you can use this number in order to reach out to me, and also use Instagram to reach out to me. About feminist criticism, we will have an introduction and we will move on to the main concept of this criticism and the main text and key figures associated to this particular criticism, literary criticism known as feminist criticism. Feminist criticism is concerned with the ways in which literature further the social, political, economic and psychological oppression of women. So women are oppressed and subjugated all these years, all these hundreds and thousands of years. So feminist criticism mainly concerns itself with the way which, what are the ways in which literature, particularly in literature, what are the ways how literature is used in order to further, in order to carry out the social, political, economic and psychological oppression of women. So how women are represented in literature, in various novels and poetries, how women are represented, what are the concepts discussed about women, how women are systematically subjugated using literature. So those things are feminist criticism, or critics are doing. Judith Fratoli states that feminist criticism is a political act whose aim is not simply to interpret the world but to change it by changing the consciousness of those who read and their relation to what they read. So Judith Fratoli says that feminist criticism is not simply interpreting the world, it is a political act. It aims at changing the consciousness of those who are reading it. So literature, the books are reading by people, right? So feminist criticism is changing their viewpoints, changing the consciousness of those who are reading it, and how they are relating what they are, what they have read already. So that's what feminist criticism is doing. It is not simply interpreting the world. It started with the women's liberation movement happened in 1960s. So 1960s women liberation feminist movements are happening throughout the ages. Approximately from 17th century, you can see frequently women are fighting for their spaces. Women are fighting for their needs, and women are asking for universal suffrage and all. So it started, especially feminist criticism mainly started with the women's liberation movement happened in 1960s. Feminist critics believed that all the literature is phallocentric, centered on men and their superiority. So all the literature, especially literature that you can find in English canon or any other literary canon, it is phallocentric. Phallocentric means it is patriarchic. What is it? Patriarchal. It is centered on patriarchal notions, centered on man and man's viewpoints and man's superiority. Every other novel that previously published, you can see the masculinity is overpowered and it is overrated, and aim to reveal patterns of female discourse which oppress women and privilege men. So the all the literature, whether poetry, whether novel, whatever kind of literature that you can find, everything is filled with the patterns of male discourse. How men are viewing this world, how men are perceiving about women, how men are perceiving about certain things, certain concepts. So their concepts, their discourse are revealed through the patterns available in every other literature, irrespective of genres, irrespective of language, I guess. So, which oppresses women. See, these male discourse which oppresses women and privileges men. They examine gender politics in literary works. They means feminist critics. They examine gender politics, how gender is displayed, how men are systematically privileged over women, and how women are systematically subjugated. So this gender politics is examined by feminist critics in literary works and trace the subtle construction of masculinity and femininity and their relative status, positioning and marginalization within works. So how gender politics is carried out in a work, that is also seen. At the same time, the feminist critics also trace the subtle construction, how systematically masculinity and femininity got defined in a particular way. If you are a woman, you should be like this. If you are a man, you should be like this. So in that way, the masculine and femininity, that identities are systematically constructed in literary works, and how they are relatively, how what is their relative status, and how they are, this masculinity and femininity are positioned and even marginalized within work. So how, especially femininity, uh, what was the status of females, and how femininity as an identity of defined identity of women, how it is positioned and marginalized within the work. So that's the duty of feminist criticism in order to unravel these things. Now let's see three waves of feminist criticism. Three waves of feminist criticism. First wave of feminist criticism starts from late 1700s and ends in early 1900s. It grew out of the major reform movement of the mid 19th century, abolitionism. Writers like Mary Wollstonecraft highlighted the inequalities between the sexes. So, after this video, we will see important figures associated to feminist criticism and their major concepts and work. So in that we will also see Mary Wollstonecraft. She came up with an amazing essay, a vindication of the rights of the women, and in which he says mainly about the inequalities between the sexes and what is the importance of education given to women, and how it is important, and how that can emancipate women in a tremendous way. So writers like Mary Wollstonecraft from the beginning itself highlighted the inequalities between the sexes. For that, they need to recognize this inequality. So many women, they don't recognize inequalities because they believe that being a woman, things are going to be like this. This inequality is so natural, but it is not natural, but it is constructed and carried out in a very unique manner that nobody could even many women even still don't understand these inequalities as inequalities. Women's suffrage movement led to the national universal suffrage in 1920 with the passing of 19th amendment. So women's suffrage movement, vote, right to vote for everyone. So women's suffrage movement led to the national universal suffrage. Everyone got right to vote nationally in 1920 in England with the passing of the 19th amendment. So there ends, with that ends the first wave feminism. The second one is second wave feminism, started early 1960s and ended in late 1980s. Here, women strived to reach a further sense of equality with men and fought for a greater control over their body and protection from physical abuse. So, in the first wave feminism, they gained universal suffrage and all, but still, they had no control over their body, their finance, and their, they had no protection against the physical abuse that they frequently get from men. So, they strived to a kind of more further sense of equality with men, and fought for an equality and greater control over their body and protection against the physical abuses that they can have from men. Writers like Simon de Beauvoir, Ellen Showalter established the groundwork for the dissemination of feminist theories. So, in second wave feminism, we can see main figures like Simon de Beauvoir and Ellen Showalter. We will have individual videos about them. And these people, these feminist critics, they established and they bring about many works that formed the groundwork for the dissemination and the expansion of feminist theories further. Now we have third wave feminism started in early 1990s, and till present we have third wave feminism, and many say that there is also a fourth wave feminism in which telecommunication is also involved. In third wave feminism, it resisted the perceived essentialist ideologies and a white heterosexual middle class focus of second wave feminism. In second wave feminism, you can see it is more Eurocentric. It is white heterosexual middle class women. They formed the group and they privileged white heterosexual middle class women. They never considered inclusive of black women, Asian women, brown women, and many other kind of skin toned women, homosexual women, bisexual women, asexual women, various other kind of sexual women, various other kind of women present in this world who has sexual identities, different kind of sexual identities, and middle class women. They only considered middle class women, but they never considered upper class, lower class, or any other, third world country women, or Dalit women, for example. But that got dismantled, that got resisted in the third world feminism, where it became more inclusive. It borrowed from post-structural and contemporary gender and race theories to expand on marginalized populations' experiences. So it borrowed. How come it became inclusive? It borrowed post-structural contemporary gender racist Dalit theories to expand on marginalized populations' experiences. It was more inclusive women of color than the first or second wave had been. And like I said, it became more inclusive. It included every other kind of women. Writers like Alice Walker worked to reconcile it with the concerns of the black community. Here, Alice Walker came up with a term known as feminism, equivalent to feminism more or less. And Alice Walker worked feminism to be more inclusive and worked to reconcile it with the concerns of black community. Okay, feminism, she also discussed the black women's concern and how they are denied and subjugated all these years by white women as well as white men as well as white black men, all of them. They black women and Dalit women, they experienced double marginalization and double or triple subjugation. Now, here in feminism, you have to remember French feminism, because from France, many feminist critics emerged and they immensely contributed to feminist criticism. And French feminism signifies the particular kind of thought and writing produced by certain French intellectuals such as Julia Kristeva, Helen Sextius, Louis Irigaray, and Monique Wittig. So, from French territory, French intellectuals like Julia Kristeva, Helen Sextius, Louis Irigaray, and Monique Wittig, they brought about many significant thoughts and writings from thoughts and writings. That's why French feminism is important. It reshaped the feminist thought by adding a philosophical focus to feminist theory. So French feminists, they added a philosophical focus to the feminist literary theory. So that's the main thing that they have done in order to reshape the feminist thought. Their works were less concerned with the political doctrine and more focused on theories of the body. So they mainly talked about the theories of body, the politics of body, how female body itself is controlled by patriarchal notions and patriarchy by men. So they wanted to focus on more on theories related to body rather than the political doctrines. In 1970s, literature feminine emerged and introduced by Helen Sextius in the essay known as The Law of the Medusa. We will deal that in the later sessions. And écriture feminine literally means feminine writing about body and body fluids, about their own discourse and their concepts and their viewpoints. Okay, so in 1970s, Helena Sextius brought about this particular term concept, which is quite relevant in feminism, known as écriture feminine. Okay. Moving on, let's see key terms which are quite relevant in feminist criticism. First one is Gyno Criticism. Gyno Criticism, it is coined by feminist critic known as Ellen Showalter in her 1979 essay Towards a Feminist Poetic. So Ellen Showalter brought about this term or coined this term Gyno Criticism in her essay Towards a Feminist Poetic, came out in 1979. It focuses exclusively on literature written by female authors. So far in English canon, you can see male where they dominated English canon, right, near the literary canon. Okay, so female writers were very few. This need to be changed so that female perceptions and female viewpoints also get currency and space. So gynocriticism is mainly exclusively on literature written by female authors and analyzed and critiqued by female critics as well. It aims to recover lost or neglected women writers and to understand in its specificity women's construction of textual meaning. So how come women are perceiving this world? What are their discourse? What are the textual meanings that they wanted to construct? So it aims at in order to bring about the lost or neglected women's writers as well as understand the ways in which women are constructing textual meaning. Important examples of gynocriticism. So you can see Showalter's A Literature of Their Own, produced in 1977, Gilbert and Goubard's Mad Women in the Attic in 1979, Patricia Mayer Sparks' The Female Imagination in 1970s. There are immense amount of gynocriticism examples we can see in which female writers are writing as well as criticizing the work. That kind of works are known as that kind of works are examples for gynocriticism. Then the next important concept in feminist criticism is écriture féminine, and it is coined by Helen Sextius, a French critic, in her work The Laugh of the Medusa, published in the year 1976, which literally means feminine writing. Sextius exhorted women to write La écriture féminine, a fluid, liberatory practice that she claimed cannot be defined or theorized. Write. Writing is for you. You are for you. Your body is yours. Take it. So she is a kind of radical. In this quotation itself, you can see how radical she was in her thoughts. How she is a radical feminist, and as Sextius suggested women, she even instigated and even pushed women to write. Write about your body, write about your body fluids, write about your practices that you are doing. It is a liberatory practice. When you write about your experiences, your body, you are claiming your body, you are owning your body, you are owning your life and your world. So she advocates every other woman to practice this liberatory practice of writing, feminine writing, and she claimed that cannot be defined. This liberatory practice cannot be defined or theorized. Instead, you have to write. Writing is for you. You have to write for you. What do you have to write? You have to write about you, your body fluids, and about your experience, both physical, non-physical. And you are writing for you. You are for you. Primarily, every other man, every other woman, everyone is for themselves. And your body owned by you. Your body is yours. You can take it. You take it and own it and use it for yourself. She stated that women must write about their own self and their bodies. Their experiences must be recorded. And it is a liberatory practice. It is characterized by a feminine logic, opting for openness, inclusiveness, digression, and play that Sextius opposes to the masculine mode of its utilitarian, authoritarian, elitist, and hierarchical. So these are the qualities that she ascribes to masculine writing. Masculine mode of writing is utilitarian, authoritarian. It always put its authority over women or other genders. It is elitist. It is marginalizing every other discourses. It is hierarchical. So these are the masculine mode of writing. These are the qualities must be dismantled and cancelled. Instead, écriture féminine is opting for openness, in which you can openly discuss about your experiences and body, and it also aims at inclusiveness, where every other kind of women is included, every other women, every other gender must be included. Then digressions, digressions to their own experiences and discourses. Play in the sense, what is play? Play is relevant in post-structuralist deconstructionist theories. What is play? When you don't have a center in the system, there won't be any periphery, there won't be any center. Try to imagine a system without a center. There you cannot go to the center in order to create meaning. In a society, patriarchy is the center most probably, where you will create meanings. You will understand things referring to that center of patriarchy. Suppose you see a woman without hair, cropped hair. Many people nowadays, the generation is changing, but still take the opinion of the earlier generation. They'll consider women having long hair. It is beautiful for women. Huh? So other women, those who don't have long hair, those who have cropped hair, that these women are viewed differently. Those who are wearing modern dresses, those they are viewed differently. Those who have colored hair, they are viewed differently. How come? Because the center is the center is patriarchy, and patriarchy is not recognizing that kind of women. Women should be submissive, lame and shallow and feeble, and they display the qualities of nurturing qualities. They display the qualities of all suffering kind of qualities. They should refer, they should they should display, they should have long hair, this kind of body they should have, this kind of body structure they should have. So this, there is a particular definition given by the patriarchy for femininity or female appearances. If you are not satisfying, you are pushed to the margin, you are not recognized as women. So instead of that, if you don't have such a center, then everybody will get their own space, right? Every can act. So when you see this kind of women who don't have a long hair, when you see women with long hair, when you see women with modern dress, when you see women with the traditional dress, everything will be will be having a equal or more or less required positions and required spaces. That is what play is. In every other notion, every other thing, this play is required. So sexues brought about feminine logic, brought about écriture feminine in order to bring about openness, inclusiveness, digression and play in literature. Now, third concept is Phallocentricism. It refers to the privileging of the masculine in understanding meaning or social relations. So, whatever their concepts are, whatever patriarchy allows, whatever the masculine patriarchy allows, that is the only meaning exists. All other meanings, they don't have a chance to play, they don't have a chance to emerge. If something goes opposite to the patriarchal notions, it is considered as others. People won't accept them. Okay, so it refers, phallocentrism is giving privilege to masculinity and understanding meaning and social relationships according to this masculine privileging. The term involved from deconstructionists who question the logocentrism of Western literature and thought. So, in deconstruction, especially Derrida and all, logocentrism of Western literature was questioned. So, from that, phallocentrism evolved. That is the belief in the centrality of logos understood as cosmic vision. So, in logocentrism, when we discuss deconstruction, we will see that in logocentrism, logos were given more importance, but the spoken word is given more importance rather than written word at that. So logocentrism is one of the major concepts involved in deconstruction. From that only phagocentrism, that term evolved. Now let's see key text in feminist criticism. There are a lot of key texts. I have just mentioned some of them. Pause the video, read these titles and the year of publication and the authors' names 2, 3 or 4 times so that you remember them while you see them in the question paper, and or read along with me as I read twice. Okay. Wollstonecraft, Mary Wollstonecraft, A Vindication of the Rights of Women, published in 1792. Bevoyers, The Second Sex, 1972. Germaine Greer's The Female Eunuch in 1970. Helen Sixtus's The Love of the Medusa in the year 1975, Showalter's A Literature of Their Own in 1977, Gilbert and Gubar's The Mad Woman in the Attic in 1979, Lucy Irigary's Speculum of the Other Women in 1985, Toril Moy's Sexual or Textual Politics, Feminist Literary Theory, published in the year 1985. I'll read the titles again. Wollstonecraft, A Vindication of the Rights of the Women, Beauvoir's The Second Sex, Germaine Greer's The Female Eunuch, Helen Sextus's The Love of the Medusa, Showalter's A Literature of Their Own, Gilbert and Gubar's The Madwoman in the Attic, Lucy Irigary's Speculum of the Other Women, Toril Moyes Sexual or Textual Politics, Feminist Literary Theory. Pause the video and write it down if you are writing notes, and or read them as many times as possible. One by one about all these authors and their works we will see in the latter videos. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, subscribe to it so that you get a notification when we publish those videos. Let's see key figures, key thinkers and philosophers associated to feminist criticism. Mary Wollstonecraft, John Stuart Mill, Margaret Fuller, Virginia Woolf, Simon T. Beauvoir, Lucy Irigaray, Kate Millett, Sandra Gilbert, Helen Sixtus, Elaine Showalter, Julia Kristeva, Susan Gubar, Shulamit Firestone, Judith Butler. I'll read again, pause the video, read them twice or thrice or multiple times. Mary Wollstonecraft, John Stuart Mill, Margaret Fuller, Virginia Woolf, Simon T. Beauvoir, Lucy Irigaray, Kate Millett, Sandra Gilbert, Helen Sextus, Elaine Showalter, Julia Kristeva, Susan Gubar, Shulamit Firestone, Judith Butler. So that's all about it. We have seen major concerns and concepts related to feminist literary criticism, and also have seen major key terms, key text and key figures associated to the literary theory feminist criticism. Okay. If you have any doubts and queries and questions, mention all of them in the comment section, and you can use this WhatsApp number on the Instagram ID to reach out to me if you have any doubts to clear. And if you have any suggestions, also mention that in the comment section. And also don't forget to visit my website so that you may understand what you have to cover for your NET JRF English Language and Literature exam paper 2. And if you want to join our course as a student, then you can join the course from the website itself. For knowing more about the free bonuses of personal study guidelines and the weekly test that we are providing, you can reach out to me through this WhatsApp number or through Instagram page as well. Subscribe to my channel if you have not yet subscribed, and press the bell icon while you subscribe. And at the same time, if you like this video, press the like button and promote my video, and also share this video to your friends so that they can also have the benefit of knowing more about feminist criticism. Meet in the next video session. Until then, stay tuned to High Point and strive for your best, guys, whatever your endeavors are. So that's all about it. Tata. Thank you.